Hey everybody, this is Perch. Hope you're doing well. Look, it's a rare video where I'm not in the car, but actually, what I'm doing is I've got a little workshop here. I'm painting it, and so I patched some holes in the wall, and then I'm going to go over it with some paint. But I'm just giving about 15 minutes for the patch to kind of settle a little bit. It's fast drying, so waiting for that patch to turn white to pink. It's transitioning patch is what's going on. That's probably not a joke right now, but anyway, that's I'm waiting for it to turn pink, and then we paint the wall, and that's what's going on. So, how will this affect the quality of this video? Beats me. Anyway, certainly a lot of stuff going on. Not going to talk about any of that. Did want to note, as I think I've been mentioning in some of the videos, my daughter is helping with the channel. It's actually pretty awesome. She creates the thumbnails, she puts the videos together, she posts them, and she's been pretty good. I posted a couple myself late in the day, in the evening. So if you ever see a video posted in the evening, not on the standard 11 o'clock Eastern time every single day, those videos are my daughter. If it comes at a different time, that's me. Why am I doing that? Maybe there's some breaking news, something I feel very strong about. It doesn't happen very often, but that's what's going on. Anyhow, she decided to post something with some language I don't approve of. I know kids say all kinds of things, but I'm going to hold on to being a father of a 12-year-old, and she's going to not talk like that. So I did make her take it down and apologize. But a lot of people didn't see the original post, and so they think the apology is for me. So it's all very funny to me, I guess. Pretty much no one else, but certainly funny to me. But hey, some background if you were wondering what was going on there. Anyway, here's a mail we're going to read, and I actually have an answer. This is one of those cases where I have an actual answer for you. That's not an opinion, but a real answer. So here's a mail. It says, "Dear Voice of the Voiceless, CM Perch." It's clobbering time, is what it is. I not to go into wrestling too much, but I dislike CM Punk. That could be a video for another time. When I say I dislike him, it's not his wrestling style; it's him personally. I actually think I don't think he's a great human being, but anyway, that's probably again that's a video for another time. Supposedly he likes me and he listens to the show from time to time, is what I've been told. But I don't know. I just the way I've heard he carries himself backstage and kind of even some personal observations. Just anyway, it's fine. It's little things, little things. I've lost another subscriber. Yeah, it's wonderful. Anyway, back to the mail. It says, "Why do you think it is a Colossus is constantly getting the short end of the stick? The last time he had any real significance in the comics was when he sacrificed himself to cure the legacy virus. And it seems like he was just resurrected for the sole purpose of being a background character. He actually had an interesting storyline going into Krakoa that just ended, amounting to nothing. And since the fall of X, he's been virtually non existent, being totally eclipsed in popularity by his sister. In addition, he's been left off the main team in all three X-Men cartoons, only appearing in cameo roles, and aside from Deadpool, he's had little to no presence in the movies. Has the franchise just moved past Pete Rasputin at this point?" Okay, I have an actual answer for this, and this may sound crazy, but the actual answer for this is um, the Marvel Comics editorial and the writers are uncomfortable with having a prominent Russian character in the comics. And you might go, "Oh, wait a minute, but what about his sister?" But his sister isn't written like a Russian character. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but look at how they have her talk. Look at how she shows up. Look at how she is in the comics. Colossus, and this was years and years and years and years and years of Claremont kind of reinforcing the Bushimoy and I know I butchered that, and then just comrade, and just like they thoroughly made him Russian, and the current mandate, and I'm using that very loosely because of course Jeff Thorne used the character recently ish in his book, but anyway, um the current kind of more or less mandate is we're going to deprioritize you know, good guy Russian characters. We're going to modify where needed. Like even the Black Widow, you will notice in the last 2-3 years, they've deprioritized in ways and they've also distanced her in other ways. Again, not as a hard and fast rule. It's not like a thou shalt not use. So it's not that far, but it's just a subtle nudge. And this is how a lot of Marvel comics and DC comics, a lot of how editorial will often work is they will give notes, they will give suggestions like, maybe let's not do this. Maybe let's just tweak with this. And a lot of writers, they just want to get the book out. So they will be like, all right, well, it's easy enough to change the character out. But this is what's been going on with Colossus is there's been a steady kind of like, nah, maybe there's a different character to be put in this role. So why in the world would Marvel deprioritize a Russian character? What does this have to do with anything? Well, this dates back to the, quote unquote, or, whatever you believe actually happened or sort of happened or mostly happened or any of the rest, Russian interference with the election. And it's been growing since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And that's what's going on. Um, and so you will see Russian characters show up as villains. You did have Omega Red and they did some stuff with him, but even that kind of petered out. You have the characters in the Ultimate line. You have a Russian contingent there, but they're evil if you want reading the Ultimate Wolverine. But that's kind of more or less where they are with Colossus. They're like, no, don't really want a big strong guy running around. In addition to that, so what I'm telling you is that is firsthand. I've been told this by multiple people that that's what's going on. In addition to that, I do think that writers struggle a little bit about like, what do you do with a big strong guy who turns metal? Like what? Like he punches stuff. What can we do? Jerry Duggan used him to basically, murder a bunch of, people from Orcus, which is kind of the one of the kind of moments in Krakoa. Weird though, because they had this whole, he was being controlled storyline that they seem to be building up, and he was on the Quiet Council, and it provided a mole there, and they're like, there's a lot of pieces to it. And then, like you said, they just kind of wrapped it up and ignored it, and then he's just throwing Wolverine at people for no apparent reason. Well, not no apparent reason. They were fighting stuff, but you have this guy who's Colossus wasn't a pacifist, but he was a calm, nice soul painter, all this kind of stuff. And then suddenly he's like, let's go kill some people, yeah, bitch, and so it has been a rough time for Colossus. The jilted wedding with Kitty Pryde, and kind of all these different things. I think Colossus is a great character. I think there's a lot you can do with him. I don't think that writing a good, solid Colossus book makes you an agent of Putin. But, again, this is oftentimes the same group of people who are like, yeah, I don't know. If you're writing The Red Skull, yeah, I don't know. You're writing a Nazi too well. I'm starting to wondering about your loyalties, given that you seem to write an accurate Nazi. Like you've got this Nazi killing people, and Nazis did kill people. How did you learn how to write Nazis? Maybe you're a Nazi. Anyway, that's been the climate. I do think that that's less of the climate today, but I mean, old habits do also die hard. And I think that you're going to see some time go by before some of that stuff starts to get unwound. Even though I do think things are much better in comics and they've actually taken a lot of great steps and we're getting some great stories out there, there still is some old habits die hard, tribal knowledge type stuff that is toxically dumb and bad. And a lot of stuff is boring business stuff like, hey, this particular editor is a track record of making terrible decisions with almost everything that he's done, Bob Harris. But let's he has experience. We should put him in charge of stuff again. Let's do that. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, imagine if this was your job and you were like a factory worker. It's like, yeah, this guy's, he's screwed up the machine and it's, cut people's hands off, but he does know machines. So we should definitely make him the foreman. I mean, that's comics in a nutshell. It's just wild. Anyway, this patch has gone to pink. So it is ready to be painted. Short, simple answer. Is it absurd? Is it insane? Yeah. Are there examples like, yeah, but they've used a Russian over here? Yes. Again, I'm not saying this is a hard and fast rule that is completely enforced, but there's just subtlety. There's a subtle nudge that happens, which unfortunately has come at the cost of my boy Colossus. And here's hoping for better days with Colossus ahead. Love that character. I do love the dynamic of him. He's a big, strong killing machine is fundamentally what he can be. and yet he has a peaceful soul, and yet he is an artist and a painter, and yet he's shy, and he would prefer not to. He's not bloodthirsty like the other members of the X-Men. He's more of a, an introvert, and so much you could do with that character. So come on, Marvel, give it to old Pete. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, thanks for listening.